Hi, everybody. So grateful to be with all of you. I'm just going to record this really quick. All right. Welcome to the QSCA Masterclass. So if you are interested in being a coach, getting certified as a coach, you already are certified as a coach, but you want to learn more, coaches like to get more tools in the tool shed, or you just love all things transformation, light, energy, you're just curious and passionate about learning, this is a good place for you to be right now. So I'm going to do all that I can with my 22 years, I can't believe it's been that long, 22 years of coaching expertise and certifying coaches since 2008. I'm going to help you determine if becoming a law of attraction coach is the right path for you, and if the Quantum Success Coaching Academy is the best fit for you. You know, we're not always the best fit, and there's so with everybody or with everything. And in a growth opportunity like coaching, getting coach certified does, you want to feel connected. You want to feel connected to the material that you're learning. You want to feel connected to the instructor who's teaching it. The classes are primarily myself. They are here for the QSCA. It's like different in other configurations out in the world, but for QSCA, which we call Quantum Success Coaching Academy, we call it the QSCA. So that's what we're talking about when you hear us say that, because I'm sure some of the wonderful, amazing people that we're going to hear from tonight or today, depending on where you are in the world, they're going to share their experience of the QSCA and how special it is. So, and how it helped them go into other things. We had so many people go into the QSCA for their own reasons and come out an author or a coach or a podcaster, or, you know, being able to do what they want for a living, helping people and in their own unique ways, and how they took this information and created it. So you want to feel connected to the material. You want to feel connected to the people that are attracted to the community. You want to feel attracted to the community, so that when you're going through it, you're not going through it alone, right? So it's important that you continue to feel your way into, when you're going into a coach training, if you feel good, right? I just had an experience, like I said, where I was going to do business with a company, and as we started getting into it, it just didn't feel good. So we just kind of departed ways. And sometimes to make those decisions, right? How do you do that elegantly? How do you do that without drama? How do you take that contrast and pivot? That's what you get to learn inside the QSCA. So anyways, what I was saying is, we want you to be excited. We want you to be excited to be a coach. We want you to feel good and make sure that you are as right for us as we are as right for you. And we want you to succeed. We want you have live support so you can succeed. And we're interested in just helping those of you that really feel a calling to be a coach. Almost like for me, it wasn't a choice, and I didn't go to become a coach. For those of you that don't know my story, I'm I was first an author because I had a book download through me at 1:05 in the morning for 7 nights in a row. And I took that information, I put into a book, and I got it published. And so I started speaking to people in spiritual bookstores and churches. And those wonderful people that I met back then, they would ask me questions, and I didn't know, but I was coaching them at the time, and I loved it. So I was doing a workshop where I was coaching and guiding and doing meditations and teaching them about universal laws, because that's what I was learning about. And that's what I was fresh new as an author, and, you know, going through and mastering the information that was coming through me. And the information that was coming through me was also for me. And so it was a very exciting time, but people were asking me to coach them. I didn't know about coaching. And when they asked me about coaching, it was like a cheerleading coaching, or softball coaching. What do you mean coaching? Life coaching. I'm like, people do that? But the life coaching industry wasn't what it was back then. There's almost jokes about it. As a matter of fact, there is on Saturday Night Live where Chris Farley, he does the, he's a motivational speaker, right? And he lives in his van down by the river. That profession wasn't successful. And I have a certain lifestyle I like to live by. So how can you be successful? Because I didn't really see a lot of people succeeding as a coach. Today, there's so much evidence of coaches, one step at a time, one intention at a time, one follow through at a time, following and flowing the energy, letting the energy guide you. Because if you are being called to be a coach, for me, it wasn't like it was a choice, but it was like I was being literally, it was moving me. I felt like the next thing, it was my duty and it was my honor, and how exciting, and ooh, what's that like? And this journey of becoming a coach and training coaches and certifying coaches. Now the QSCA is an online program. You can take it anywhere in the world at any time. And you have live support because twice a month, you have the office hours where either myself or Beth, say hi. Let everybody see you. Beth is
hello.
Beth is an important aspect of not only my company, but the QSCA. And Beth didn't know I was going to have her do this, so she's totally off guard, but she's doing beautifully. She has her own experience of what happened for her when she joined the QSCA. And Beth, I'd love for you to share that.
Sure.
I know I put you on the spot, but I'd love for you to share, because you're such a part of this organization, and I appreciate you so much. And your amazing wife, Kim, is our, program concierge. So she helps people figure out what's the best path for them, what path is best for individuals. And we just have an incredible team. And I'm just having a moment of reflecting, like all those years ago, if I wouldn't have leaned in and said yes, like where I'd be now. And it's like, oh, I'm just so grateful for everybody that surrounds me and clients, and just grateful that I get to do what I love to do and that I have passion and purpose for every single day. For me, I'm so grateful. And I know you felt that same way.
Oh, yes. I am so grateful for you and finding you in an email that somebody had sent, and your 5 video series was there. And I am sitting in the emergency room watching your 5 videos, like glued to them, when my sister-in-law was in the emergency room. It was, waiting for tests and things like that. And I was like, who is this woman? I want to learn from her. I knew I wanted to be a life coach when I retired from being in the school system. And when I got to 30 years, that was my goal. And 31 years, I retired from the school system, and I started leaning in and doing work for you little bit by little bit. And then there was the opportunity to become your assistant. And you asked me, and I said yes. And we are living our dream life of a portable and flexible. I was in the school system where I was, I was on everybody else's schedule. And I get to be on your schedule and my schedule. I still have my own coaching practice. I work with your clients and serve you in light every day. And I just so love. And so since 2014, you have made a difference in my life, and you continue that every single day. And I'm just so, so grateful that you leaned in and said yes. And I'm grateful that I leaned in and said, yes, I want to learn from you, and the leaning in that I've done along the way, along the journey. So thank you.
Well, that wasn't planned. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know I was going to tear up. So thank you, Beth. Appreciate you. So Beth also does office hours. So there's times when I'm there, sometimes when the council comes through. Who's the council? Some of you don't know. I am messengers of a group of beings that are messengers of light. They call themselves the Divine Quantum Council of Light, or the council or just council, as many people call them. The fourth module in the Quantum Success Coaching Academy is their downloaded information to help you yourself master your own energy so you can then help others master theirs. And really, that's what's so great about this course is that you're learning. And what's different about this certification program than many others that are out there is that you're learning about the 7 essential laws. And it's not just from a cerebral, oh yeah, I know law of attraction, but you're living it and you're given processes. I believe we counted, there's like 72 processes that you learn inside the QSCA where you're integrating it. Classes, you're watching me coach someone as they do the process, and then you are doing it with the class. So it's experiential. And we've had people that have taken both the live classes and now the recording classes and had huge shifts every time they watch a video. Just that calling of, I want to do the next thing. And what's great about it though, is that the quality of coaches that come out of the QSCA, because we don't just let someone binge, 36 classes or 24 classes or, and then go, oh, I'm certified. We have you do a practicum so that you are taking that first step that's scary, and that you have support in taking that first step that's scary. Because as Carl and Carrie and Barbara and Mary will all testify, I'm sure, or attest to is a better way of saying that, is that when they did their first feedback, when they were going through and doing this, it wasn't, it wasn't what, maybe it was easy for them. Let's ask them, but it was a little like, okay, I got to create this momentum. And I'm excited for all of you to hear about it. So really quick, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Christy Whitman. I am the founder of the QSCA, but I have been applying law of attraction in my life, law of sufficiency and abundance for over 25 years. And then I became an author because of this calling. That was even bigger than coaching. But people, like I said, started asking me to coach. I didn't have anyone to train me at the time. There wasn't any law of attraction certification programs at the time. So I just kind of found my own way and did my own thing. And then finally, there was one law of attraction certification course. I took it. It just taught law of attraction. I got certified. Eva Gregory no longer wanted to certify coaches, and it was perfect. I picked up that part and taught the 7 essential laws, plus light body, plus just all of these different wonderful things. And I was then asked by many people to certify them. And then the QSCA was born in 2008. So we have successfully certified some of the top coaches doing really incredible things. And some of them are here with us today. So I would love to talk with Carl. Where are you, Carl?
Hey, hi.
Hey. I am so I got to tell everybody, Carl, when did you go through the QSCA?
I started the program in 2011 and graduated end of the summer 2012.
Awesome. And then have you been doing coaching ever since then? Did you stop for a little bit? Did you kind of just dive in?
No, I've always done it in the last 10 years. And I'll be honest, I don't know if the way I've gone has panned out like so many of the other coaches, but first of all, when I found out about the QSCA, they say that when you're ready for it, it'll come to you. Well, I was, because I was in a place of exploring who I was. I had been a student of what I call the 3 Ps for many years: positive, possibility, power thinking. And so same thing like Beth, I got an email. I go, huh? okay, wait, I can do this and help people and make a career doing it? I go, okay. And so I was all in on it. And I didn't exactly have the money at it, but I had a lot of faith, and I just threw my credit card at the registration, and it worked out beautifully. But the way the QSCA has benefited me. Yes, I have continually coached people, mainly one-on-one, and I don't have a huge clientele, but learning about the law of attraction just expanded my mind and my heart exponentially, in that I was ready for spiritual growth. But the biggest thing for me was learning that everything is energy. And if everything is energy, and everything in the universe is connected, there cannot be any separation from anything at all. We are connected as much to a tree as we are to a galaxy, to source. And so when I understood this really raised my curiosity and level of exploring my spirituality and who I really was. And it helped me. And of course, through the law of attraction, my desiring to learn about this more was sent to me to understand it. And now I've become a spiritual seeker and teacher, and my podcast is based on spirituality, metaphysics, law of attraction, and enlightenment. And I've written a book.
So pause there for a second, because I'm going to toot your horn for you. Wait, that didn't sound good. Cut. No, honestly, I'm proud of you. I was looking through podcasts one day, just seeing whose podcast would I like to go on as a guest. And here it was, Mr. Carl Gruber has one of the top spirituality podcasts. And I was like, I feel like one of my babies. And honestly, it was so like, and I was, posted it into the QSCA,
You did, yeah.
And I was so excited for you. And then to also have you become an author, as many, QSCAs, it's incredible how many coaches have become authors. So tell them about your book.
Well, I've written a couple other books. Being a runner, I've got a couple books about running. But this particular book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction. Oh, I just happen to have a copy here.
Good job.
You can't see it, but
learn that in the QSCA.
But it's actually called True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship. So this is quite a culmination for me, because as a budding law of attraction life coach, I had this curiosity on why could people get the law of attraction to work some of the time, but not consistently. And that was true for me too, not only my clients. And I finally had this slow unfolding epiphany that you needed to build a rock solid personal foundation based on the three pillars of your mental, spiritual, and physical pillars. And because if you don't base your life, your beliefs, your understanding on eternal, unchanging, universal laws of unconditional love and oneness, then your whole house can come crashing down. And I found that when you base in what I call right-minded spiritual thinking, got nothing to do with religion, believe me, it's all about true spirituality, then you can become a consistent co-creator with the universe, because you're marching in the integrity of universal, unchanging laws. And so your whole house, your whole being stands strong for the ages, and you can become a consistent manifester. And that's what my book is all about, but it's what I'm all about.
Yeah, but it's amazing, because you had that awareness, you had that realization, you had that opening many times, I know, during the classes of the QSCA. So it was like, it helped you. And like you said, when student, and I believe you're referring to when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Yeah.
You found like those openings, that integration of not just everything's energy, right? But that implementation of it, and that experience of it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it really truly was an epiphany for me. And like I said, I'd have to say from when I became certified with the QSCA in 2012, I have grown exponentially in a way that I could never imagine. I mean, I grew up in the hippie era. What do I know? I was stoned for years, man. That was, and it was fun. So they tell me, but now, I don't need any of that because this is the way I live. My job is to help people expand themselves and understand the law of attraction and how to use it to create the life they want. What I like to say, live the life you love and love the life you live.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm
absolutely.
so proud of you. I really am. Good job.
The fact that you called me your baby and I'm way older than you, I love it.
But it does. It feels like, when you birth a book, it's like, it's like a baby, it's something that's a part of you, and you have a podcast, or you birth a program, or, they're just parts of you. They have they have little energy beings on their own, and they become something else, like children do, but they're a part of you. And so is students, and
and I just have to say that Christy and the council are going to be the guests on my podcast, World Awakenings, a Fast Track to Enlightenment, episode number 100. You and the council. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Carl. I appreciate you. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
I want to go to Mary Silver. Mary was in the very first QSCA class in 2008. She was the second person to actually be certified. So Mary, are you there? I think if you start talking.
Yes, I am
there
here.
There you go. Okay, awesome. Is she pinned? Do you see Mary yet? Oh, there she is. Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. How are you, sweetie? It's so good to see you.
So good. So good. And so I always love doing this with you. It's like reconnecting. And like you say, it's like reconnecting to family, whether or not we're your babies or whatever, because we're older than you. It's still family.
It is. And I just appreciate honestly, I appreciated watching you, because you and I had a conversation when you went through the QSCA, and it was one of those, kind of like what Carl had said, it was one of those moments of crumbling down.
Yeah.
Right. It was a crumbling down moment. What do I do? And to see you create and recreate your life has been amazing. So, yeah.
Well, in true Scorpio fashion, I seem to do that quite a bit. So
exactly.
Like to build it up and tear it all down and do it again. But yeah, I think for me, and I'm going to age both of us, because when I found you in QSCA, I knew I wanted to be a life coach, and there was nothing out there. And I found you in the days when Facebook didn't even have advertising. We were just friends of friends of friends. And she posted on her Facebook, I'm going to do this telecall. And I came on a telecall, and I knew instantly. I was like, oh, there's no doubt. This is for me. And like you said, I went through, I think, half the program. And then I was like, I just can't be married anymore. And I still wanted to coach big time. And I knew I was going to coach, but it had to look different for me. And again, since there was nobody out there you were either a life coach making it, or you were the life coach that lived on the river bank that you were talking about.
Yeah, in a van down by the river.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to go back into corporate, and oh my God, I remember just like, it was devastating. It was just, I just wanted to cry. And I think I was sitting outside on my driveway, and I was talking to you on the phone, and you said, this is your contrast. You can make it what you want it. Doesn't mean anything other than what you make it. And at the time, I just was like, that is so profound. Like, I'm making this. And I think that's when I started connecting, that this is about the essence of what I make it. And even when I saw you in person in Arizona, and you started talking about essence again, I still had that new epiphany, like, this is always about the essence. And when you can get that, your whole life changes. And I haven't even told you this, but
I'm on the verge of crying already. Go ahead. I'm going to prepare myself for this.
Well, and I could too, because this is, I have, like I said, and like I've been talking about with everybody, built my career. I'll do the same as Carl. I have my book too. And I wrote that book, and it's about how to impact millions, the easiest way to find soulmate clients every day. And I speak in the book about the processes that you've taught me and the processes that brought me my soulmate husband that changed my entire world. Back in 2015, I was able to go full-time into coaching again and have not looked back. Not only do I have a fiction business or a nonfiction business that I help people write their books, become bestsellers, and become the authority in their field, doing exactly what they love with their soulmate clients, but I have my own fiction romance authorship program as well. So I write under a pen name and have hit bestseller in those as well. And I am going for, I haven't hit it yet, but we're going for the 6 figures in that category as well.
Oh my God, Mary, that's awesome.
I have so many. I have
I have a romance novel that wants to come out, so we'll have to chat. But yeah, under a pen name. But
yeah, you have to do it under a pen name because people will be like spirituality, and then
right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway, we'll talk later. But
yeah, we'll talk later.
That is so cool. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I have series, different series under that pen name, and been writing. I mean, and I'm like you, the books come and people are like, how did you just write 2 books in 2 weeks? And I'm like, they kind of write themselves. I can't tell you my process.
Exactly.
But
yes,
going on all of that, I want to be really clear that not only with a career, this program is so life-changing, because there was a point in the past where, and I have not ever said this to you, I've never told you this, we went from 7 figures annual income and lost it all overnight. Completely lost it. And most people would be like, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to, there's no way around this. What's the, like the what if down scenario.
Yeah.
And it was so many times that it was just looking at different processes to go from that next vibrational frequency that pulled me out of it, pulled the people I was dealing with it out of it. And it wasn't fun going through it, but I can tell you, I learned so much. And I know that when you follow your heart and you connect with people like your family, like this, you're never guided in the wrong way. So when things crumble, and that's how we started this conversation off, when they crumble and they look horrible, something better is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, and I owe it all to QSCA for all of it.
I love it, because no matter, life is going to throw us uncertainties, and, times when we're feeling pretty stable and other times where we're not. And I think right now more than ever, there's so many people that are feeling unstable, and they're needing coaches. They're needing people like Mary, like Carl, like Carrie, like Barbara, like that are like Beth, that are stable, because you understand what processes to do when things don't look like the way they should or what we've intended them to look like, right? And to have that level of faith, and to be able to process the mind, process the emotions, be your own energy master. It doesn't mean that things you don't feel, you feel, but that's it. You feel so that you can move past it and then feel what you choose to feel.
Yeah. And I think you were the one that really pointed that out to me over and over. Just look past it. And it was hard for me to understand, because I thought if I felt it, I would attract it instead of releasing it. That was definitely, I had to bloom into that. But I also think that every time you bloom, there's a new opportunity, a new door. If you and I were having this conversation back in 2000, and I think it was 7 or 8 when we started, and I would have said, oh, I'm going to be a coach and I'm going to be a romance novelist and I'm going to be this, I would have laughed at you. Or just laughed at myself for even having those thoughts. I would have been like, stay in your lane, girl. Go.
And Mary, okay, so let's talk about that, because in the QSCA, we do future visioning, which is such a powerful, such a powerful process, right? And connecting to your future self, right? Even where you were when you went through, let's say 2008, right? Even where you were, if your future vision would have been, you couldn't have even gone there in your mental vision.
No.
But you kept changing and upgrading the vision and creating, and then in now, wow, right? You wouldn't have been able to connect to that, but you didn't connect to that back then.
No.
And that's the beauty of this work.
It really is. And I think that the future visioning is like one of the best, but I also love the unconscious stream, the stream of unconscious, or conscious stream. I even mess these names up, but I use them every day. Stream of consciousness. There we go.
Yes, there you go. Stream of consciousness. Yes, just let the stream of consciousness go.
Yeah. And when it shows up and you're like kind of laughing at yourself, or you're like, oh yeah, who am I to say that that's what I'll be doing? But then you kind of keep looking back at it. That's when it gets so much fun.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary, for sharing your example. Thank you. Appreciate that. I love hearing that. So I want to also call in Barbara Doust. Barbara actually didn't even want to become a coach. She just became a coach because she wanted to take the QSCA for personal development. So is Barbara there? Do we have Barbara? Hi.
Hi.
So good to see you.
So good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about your story and I thought, I don't want to share your story. I want you to share your story of how you came to the QSCA and then where you are now, because it's just amazing.
Oh, thank you. I have a lot to thank you for and be grateful for. So everybody, I was in the entertainment business for a good 25, 30 years. And I was, on track to direct, and I have a master's in directing, and I had an acting academy for professionals who are big celebrities and big stars. And then everything collapsed for me. I lost my husband 2 months before my 25th wedding anniversary. And the vulnerability of grief was very challenging to keep everything going the way I had been. So I shut down my acting academy. I shut down my directing, my private practice, everything. And, went on a journey, and, dark night of the soul. And, but then I lost 4 more people directly after my husband. So, I found my mother-in-law dead, my father died, my best friend died, and these were all in front of me. And my 40-year-old brother-in-law died jumping out of a plane, and his parachute didn't open. And then my cat died on top of it. So I was, a puddle on the floor. You couldn't really pick me up off the floor. Had no idea what had happened to me in my life and why it had happened to me. It was always this story that I had always been a great, nice person, and then I went into a program, in a master's program in spiritual psychology, and that was to heal myself. And because I just didn't know what was next. I had no idea what would unfold for me. And then it was through that program that somebody sent me an email about Christy and the QSCA. And again, I had no intention of coaching whatsoever. I just needed help for myself and wanted to heal. I had no desire for about 4 years to even heal. I just really wanted to just be with everybody else on the other side. And, it was, the impact was so extreme. But after I started doing the QSCA, and to certify, you had to work with people. It was like, okay. So I just called on friends, and they were getting amazing results. I was like, geez, this, and not only that, but my vibration, my frequency, my feelings, the only way that I ever had a smile on my face, and this is like another, like, oh gosh. But the only way I had a smile was I was communicating with a channeler who communicated communicated with me, with my loved ones on the other side. And then he died.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so it was just kind of like, what is this thing called life? And through the program and the processes and the work and the changes that I saw in everybody else, I was like, there's something to this. And it again, no intention, just like you, Chrissy, people asking you to work with them, because I couldn't stop talking about it. I couldn't stop talking about the processes, and the processes that Christy gives you are just abundant. I mean, one thing I can say about you, Christy, is the abundance and the wealth of information and resources and processes. And to this day, I'm still using in my coaching practice. And, just forever grateful for even the programs that you allowed us, because I didn't have the confidence in myself to sell myself. It was a lot easier to sell Christy. And it was a lot easier to sell Christy and her work and her programs. And the fact that I could have her programs and use the content and use the material. And she's so generous. I mean, the generosity is beyond. And also the prolific nature of her work and books. And oh my God. And not only that, but her ability to organize you. I still to this day am in total awe as to how she does that. I'm aspiring to do that. And so I wrote a book too in 2011 called True Love, True Self, A Journey to Self-Love. And it's about my journey through grief and the loss of not just my loved ones, but the loss of myself as I knew it. And then the last part of the book is, the processes that I learned through the QSCA and through the spiritual psychology program on how I could navigate through these tragedies, and also the loss of myself, my confidence. I had lost all my confidence. Really, it was like a phoenix rising, and one thing that a friend of mine always says is, the Ernest Hemingway story. Because as I've coached, and there's more and more coaches and more and more coaches and more and more coaches, I always remind myself, Ernest Hemingway said he would not be Ernest Hemingway if he did not have a valet. His valet got him out of bed every morning after a night of drunken stupor and picked up all the manuscripts out of the fireplace that Ernest threw into the fireplace, got him into the car and drove him to his interviews. And Ernest always said he would not be Ernest Hemingway without his valet. And so I think we all need a valet.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all need somebody to believe in us more than we believe in ourselves, and because people can see for us, the bigger version that is what we, in our so-called real world might be challenged to see. It's a lot easier for me to see for my clients, than even for myself, what's available, and I've been successfully maintaining, a successful coaching, practice since the QSCA. And just the other day I was singing the song, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been driving a Mercedes Benz for the last 3 years. Why am I singing that song?
Yeah.
And it's to your point in the desire factor of like, I really believe that you don't get what you want, you get who you are being. And it's the having, and being in that state of that, as Mary was saying, the essence, as you were, teaching, the essence of being, and, and getting into alignment. Like I charge really high rates now. And last year, my focus was on, a clientele that could pay for my rates, and they came in, because I was aligning with it. And I've been speaking a lot. I speak on a lot of podcasts. I just spoke on a podcast, and I'm not even sure how it's happening, but I just got over, I offered a download, a PDF download on a future visioning process. And since like the beginning of December, I've had 350 downloads for just that PDF.
Amazing.
Kind of like going like, I don't know, where did that come from? But we know where it comes from. It's just, always doing the assessments, and building the belief.
I love
It's
it.
not always that I feel in alignment. I just go for it and trust that I'll catch up.
It's so amazing. So I know you're not going to brag on this, but it's pretty cool what you have created for yourself, and being one of the top coaches for the Procter Gallagher company. That's quite an accomplishment. That's really amazing, Barbara. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that. I mean, it's incredible what all of you are accomplishing, from just being an author to being on podcasts to having your own podcast to creating wealth in your life. I mean, it's just the love of your life. I mean, all the things that you've brought into your life by applying the universal principles that are taught inside the QSCA.
Yeah. And you offer so much more, I mean, from the council to the light body to the business, the concept of building a practice, because those are the pieces that are missing, with a lot of certifications, is that it's a business, and it takes a mindset of building the business and showing up. I always say that I may not want to do it, but I'm willing to do it.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to watch your words. I said that to my kids this morning as they were, it's been Christmas break, and they're like, I don't want to go to school. And I go, you get to go to school. You don't have to go to school. You get to go to school. And Maxim goes, we don't got to go to school. You just said we don't have to go to school. And I'm like, not in the literal. Yes, you have to go to school, but you get to. There are kids that don't get to go to school and don't get to read and don't get to learn how to, take the opportunities that you get to. So you get to.
I was just saying that to myself this morning because I caught myself saying, I've got to do this. I was like, no, you get to do it.
Exactly. I love you, Barbara. It's so nice to sit with you. So happy.
I'm so grateful to you and all that you provide, and to watch you continue to grow and blossom and share, and your wisdom, it's really powerful.
Thank you. I take all that in. I feel so fulfilled. I hope all the rest of you are having a good time. I'm very fulfilled. Thank you so much, Barbara. Appreciate you and all of your kind, sweet, generous, loving words. And I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's hear from someone that has gone through the recent QSCA program and also has become an author, Carrie Wooden, the Joy Coach. How'd you get your name, Joy Coach?
I got the name from the council. Yes, definitely. Very happy about that one.
I love it. Do you know that we got the puppy's name from the council too in a, conversation? I said, what is the puppy going to be named? And they said, Joy. So they must either call everybody Joy or there must be the same frequency or something.
Same frequency.
So you were one of the first group, because for years, the QSCA was a live course. So, Mary and Carl and Barbara, they showed up and they actually were in a class, right? But it wasn't Zoom class like this. We were on teleseminars. Remember that, y'all? It was like phones. We were on the phone and, or it was on a computer but we didn't see each other, that we didn't have this intimacy. So even though it's not live, it's still very intimate. Would you say, because we have the office hours, right? So
yes.
Talk to me, Goose.
I love that it's on Zoom, because I am not a telephone person. I'll be the one that is not going to leave a message because I need it to be more personal. And when I first saw the ad on Facebook about the QSCA, I was like, oh, well, I've been looking like, what is my life purpose? Like I was like throwing spaghetti on the walls, and well, maybe that was the children because I do have 11, but I really had really lost like, what's my purpose? I'm a mom and I'm a photographer and I do construction cleaning and I do this and I do that, but I wasn't joyful in any of it because it was just, I felt like I had no purpose. And so I'm like, okay, universe, hello, you gotta send me a sign. And seriously, I opened the computer and there was your beautiful face. And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. And before that, I had only ever watched one meditation with you ever. And I was like, oh, I'll watch, so I watched the ad, I in the masterclass or the videos or whatever. And I'm like, oh,
5 video series. Yeah.
that I have to do that. Like, I ran with my laptop to my husband. I'm like, look, I'm going to do this. And he's all, okay, weirdo. I'm like, I know, but I'm going to do this. This is what I'm supposed to do. And so I signed up like that, within a few hours. And then I was like, oh shit, what did I do?
We're all adults here.
Oh crap. I was just like, all right, because then I got all the information about what it included and what I needed to do and the manual. And I was like, oh my goodness, can I even do this? Like, so when we had our first group office hours meeting and stuff like that, and I got in the pod group and I was just like, everybody else kind of felt the same way. I'm like, oh, whew, I can do this. And then I just ran with it. The processes that you gave us and walked us through just really makes all the difference because we're not learning it to teach other people before we learn it for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so that
100%.
was just amazing to me. And I hadn't been in the law of attraction world so something like this for very long. I was just dabbling in it. And so to really get that deep dive with a family, like the other said, it's a family, and you get all these connections, and it's amazing, the connections. I mean, I have connections with people in New Zealand and Spain and Hawaii. I'm going to move there one day. Yes, I am. And just Ireland, all over the place. There are people that I would have never met if it hadn't been through the QSCA. Contacts that I would have never met. I would have never written a book if I hadn't met, this person and then this person. And then it was like, oh, let's talk about writing a book. I'm like, not my desire. And then, a month later I was done. So, it's amazing how the universe just works.
Well, when you get into the quantum field like that of pure potentiality, and you just let yourself be an allowing partner of it, it is amazing what can manifest. It really, really is. Like I was saying with Mary, there's no way I would have conjured up that in my future vision. I wasn't even in that consciousness, right? I mean, there's no way. 28 years ago, when I first met my meditation teacher, when she was telling me, 26 years ago, I think, she said to me, you create your own reality. And then she also told me as I was leaving, she goes, you're a channel. And I literally had never saw a meditation teacher. I didn't know what meditation was. She had candles and clinky clanky music, new age music. I had never seen anything like this ever before in my life. And I sat down on a cushion and she looked deep into my soul and she said, you create your own reality. And there wasn't the secret. It wasn't there. We didn't have the internet like we do now. How did I track the right? It was like, and she said that and I went, yeah. But then she also, as I'm getting up, she goes, you're a channel. I don't know. Okay. I couldn't even understand what that meant. And now I'm doing that with the council. So it's amazing when you get into that quantum field and understanding and learning about the 7 essential laws, which we teach, even if you don't want to become a coach, Beth and Kim and I were talking, QSCA is as a baseline. I mean, look at Barbara. She came in because she wanted some support. She wanted a community. She wanted to learn. She wanted to grow. She wanted to feel better. And then she did. And it just happened to led to coaching. But Barbara still meets with her pod groups, once a month, I think, or, at least once a year. And it's been years. So thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So How did you find it watching the classes? Because you have the support going through the course, twice a month with office hours. How did you feel, as it wasn't a live because it's recorded, but how did you feel going through it?
I think the energy that comes through the videos with you and everything that you teach is just as if it was live. The energy is still really there. And I love the fact that I can go back and rewatch it, because there's a couple, like in the light body meditation, that's like a couple of the meditations I was falling asleep. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to fall asleep this time, but my vibration wasn't matching with what I was doing, but it was something that I got to learn. That contrast shows up, and I was able to go back and learn it. And then with the office hours, when we had questions, it's like, okay, even if it was, technical, but it was so nice, even if my question, I wasn't brave enough to ask my question, which was at the beginning, because I was a little shy when I started. Now I'm not stopping you. I was afraid to say anything and mess up or whatever. But when everybody else was coming up with the questions that I had, and you just feel so comfortable that, it's like, oh, okay, I can ask my question. Even if it sounds silly to me, I need to ask the question. And that support was really key to just being able, the momentum just keeps going and keeps going. And you look forward to the office hours, and you look forward to the next lesson and the next process you get to learn. And then you get to share it through doing the feedbacks and taking your client through it. And, even though that, like you said, the first one's really nerve-wracking, you're like, am I doing it right? Type thing. But there was just so much love around the support system, the feedbacks and the reviews that you got through that also.
Awesome. So thank you for that. Perfect. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate learning about your experience. It's always good to hear that. So thank you. Well, I do want to thank each of you, Mary, Barbara, Carrie, you're all just absolutely so amazing. Of course, Carl, I'm so proud of each of you. I'm so grateful for each of you. For the rest of you that are here, we have a few minutes, and I just wanted to say this. We are increasing the abundance exchange in the new year, which is what we are upon. So the normal price or exchange, if you will, the abundance is $19.97 through January 15th. And then it's going up to enroll in the QSCA. It's still one of the least expensive, most affordable certifications out in the market right now. And the quality of what you become as a coach and what you learn is, I've had people go and get certified or go through, courses that were $50,000, $100,000, $35,000, $10,000, and still say they learn more in the QSCA. So it's going up to $2,497 after January 15th. So it is right now $19.97. And with that, also, what else is changing is that you get right now until January 15th, unlimited office hours, meaning you can go for years and years. Carrie got certified a couple years ago. And she still comes and shows up and gets the benefit of staying plugged into the community and learning business stuff and, getting opportunities or getting introduced to someone. So she's plugged in. And after January 15th, the enrollment will include 1 year of office hours. So basically what I'm saying is right now, when you enroll, you get it for $19.97, so $1,997, and you get office hours for life, as long as we do it, right? And there's many bonuses listed on the registration page. The bonuses alone are just about $5,000 that you get when you purchase through, when you do your exchange or you do your registration through January 15th. We have full pay or 3-pay options available. And we have an incentive for those that I like to incentivize people to take action. So we have a fast action bonus to the first 10 registrations. You'll receive coaching the coaching niche freedom course, which is a $247 value. It is a really popular program with coaches because it's so hard to think about, all right, who's my ideal client, and how do I reach out to them? How do I find them? What do I say to them? And that is part, as Barbara was saying, being a coach, it is part of owning a business. You are in the business of coaching. And so knowing who do you want to reach out to? Who is your audience? This is an amazing program that, like I said, it's a $247 value. The first 10 people that register get that as a bonus. So that's for the first 10 people. So it is a 7-module course designed to help both certified and non-certified coaches people who want to get into the coaching business, find a niche that brings value to your clients and fulfillment to your own coaching practice. So it's a really great opportunity to get even more refined in what you're doing. So Beth, anything else that I missed? Is there
Yes,
a question that I can answer?
Yes, there's a couple of questions.
Perfect.
So let me see. We had a question from Zara, and Zara asked the question about, where do the 7 universal laws come from that you teach about? What does that have to, what is all that about?
So the 7 essential laws are 7 essential laws are one of the things, one of the modules actually that we teach inside the QSCA. These are not Christy Whitman's laws. They are not so-and-so's laws. They are universal laws. And people have been talking about, even Jesus Christ would talk about these universal laws, not in so many words. He didn't say, hey, this is law of attraction, but size of a mustard seed. The Buddha was saying things, it is your thoughts that create your reality. So there has been people and gurus and ancient ones that have talked about these universal laws since the dawn of time, because they've been around since then. So they have just, where I learned them along the way is law of attraction, for example, and we talk about this a lot in the QSCA. There's law of attraction that is Abraham Hicks, and a lot of their processes. So early on got into a collaboration agreement where I will certify law of attraction coaches, and the required reading is Abraham Hicks books. And the processes that we are teaching coaches to be able to do with their clients, many of them, not all of them, there's over 75 different processes, but many of them in the one module, 7 essential laws, comes from Abraham Hicks. And so if you like Abraham Hicks, if that's, someone that you follow, the law of attraction coaching, the QSCA is absolutely in alignment with that. So there's those different processes, and they all attend to each law. And so those laws, like the law of sufficiency and abundance, for example, that was a law that I had learned about many years ago from Terry Cole Whitaker, talking about abundance when I was going through my own experience of what is lack, what is abundance, what's a consciousness, if a thought, like Melanie said to me, your thoughts create your reality. Okay, well, if I'm having this thought doesn't feel good. Am I in abundance or am I in lack? Trying to figure out what is, like, when I'm competing with someone, oh, I'm in lack, unless I'm playing a game, and how to learn with the differences between lack and abundance. So that was my own journey. And then the downloads that came through books through me, things I learned. So along the way, it's just been a collection of understanding. And there's many other laws that other people talk about and teach about. But these for me were, these 7, and specifically, one, which is the law of sufficiency and abundance, how to practice that and understand that, how to navigate that, how to work with the law of deliberate creation. It makes life so much easier and more flowing and more cosmic and more fun and more successful. And like we were saying, you get into that quantum field and the creativity and the you get to just be surprised and delighted what comes through you, what's wanting to come through you, because ultimately we're all just conduits for light. And if we have light, consciousness has a willing participant to put out a book or a podcast or a coaching program or whatever that is. Light provides really beautifully, because light knows abundance. And so you get to be a conduit for light. You get to help change other people's lives by teaching them about universal laws while applying it yourself, and learning how to be a coach through a really well-known and really well-established, and I'll put it against any certification, one of the best certifications out there. And you get to transform your life while you're doing it, so you can then transform other people's lives. So hopefully that answered your question. I think it was on 7 essential laws.
Yes, it was.
Next.
Next, Deepa is asking the question, do you have to be a law of attraction coach, or could it be a transformation coach, or a different title?
I love that question. So we have many different, no, you do not have to call yourself a law of attraction coach. You don't have to call yourself a quantum success coach. You will be a coach, and you get to anything that feels good to be. You could be an energy coach. You can be the joy coach, right? You can be an empowerment coach. You can call yourself whatever you want. You get a law of attraction certification as a title, but what you call yourself is part of your business, part of your branding. And you can do that as long as you don't take somebody else's registered name or that kind of thing. But you can, like, for example, we have desire factor coaches. So you can't say, oh, I'm a desire factor coach, because that's obviously my brand and is trademarked and that sort of thing. But anything that hasn't been trademarked from anybody in the business, you certainly can. And that's the beauty of it, is that the difference between the QSCA is that we certify you in how to coach with universal laws, how you brand yourself. Like Barbara was even saying, when she first started, she didn't have her own programs. And so she was able to coach through using my image and likeness and my programs that came together while she taught it, but giving credit to me, and then both benefited. So, I lost my train of thought on that. But anyway, what was I talking about, Beth?
You're doing a beautiful job of explaining that you can decide what niche, where you coach from, and what you call yourself as far as a coach.
Yes. So you can call yourself whatever you want. And that's what I was going to say. Thank you for the reminder. Sometimes I get in the field of the council and I go a little, so grounded back in reality. Thank you, council. And thank you, Beth. I appreciate that. So when you don't have to, it's not like you're buying a brand when you're at the QSCA. You can learn this and then make your own path, make your own way. Or there's options too that will support you in how to, teach classes if you want to. There's other certifications where you have to use their material. It's their specific way. I have that in the Desire Factor. They're trained, they're certified in this particular brand, and they use a particular workbook and coach book and that sort of thing. But they're representations of that particular work. With the QSCA, if you want to coach realtors, if you want to coach plumbers, if you want to coach moms, if you want to coach actors and athletes, or you want to get into being a parenting coach, or you want to get into being a single mom coach, or business coach, whatever it is, you can go into any of those fields, whatever you feel called to. That's the beauty of it.
Yes, it is. So another question we have is, because it is an online certification and self-paced, there really isn't a time commitment that's a requirement. But could you share a little bit about the time commitment for people who are working full-time and wanting to fit this into their schedule? Absolutely.
So we've made it so that it's about an hour or two a week, and then you can schedule that in. Because here's the thing. It's the QSCA was actually designed early back in the day. It was a 12-month certification. And the way that the online one is now, it's created as a 10-month certification, but there's some people that want to go faster. Maybe they want to get certified in 6 months or 3 months. So that's really up to you what time you have to invest. But if you are staying on track and watching at least a video a week, showing up for office hours, starting to read the required readings. And when you are, then getting to the place where you're doing in the second module, doing feedbacks, it's a couple of hours a week, or it could be more the more you put into it and the faster you want to go. So it is self-paced. You always have a touch point twice a month through office hours to come and be part of the community, to kind of check yourself as far as get motivation. Sometimes people get, I'm in a rut, I haven't listened to anything in a while. And it's like, okay, get in there. And then they rev their engine back up. So it's just nice to have that as a community. So I saw Elena, is there a certification exam? I just saw that. So no, there is no, oh, these are good questions, Elena. So there is no time limit at all. The only thing is that to go as fast as you can, right? You have to do feedbacks in between to get information on the feedback. So that happens, but it doesn't have to be 10 months. And you don't have to do it just in 10 months. If you go 15 months, 16 months, that's fine too. I used to give a 4-month grace period after they had stopped the classes, that they had 4 months to get in all the requirements. And that meant doing coaching hours and the feedbacks and all that. So there's no time constraint on that. I saw, what was the other question? I thought I missed another question.
Is there a certification exam at the end?
Oh, thank you. So now what you do is you watch a video and then there's questions that come up, you answer the question. And by the time you get through all the videos, that is your exam. So you have taken the exam as you answer questions off the videos. So technically there is, but it's not after the fact, like we used to have it back in the day when Carl had to do that. He had to ask for his exam and get it back and all that. So awesome. Well, thank you all. Beth, any other quick questions?
No, I'm just excited for seeing some of the registrations come through. Noreen is joining us.
Oh,
Woo-hoo.
Doreen, that's amazing. Oh, Doreen, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's right up your alley. It's the basis. It's the basis of understanding the universe so that we get it for ourselves. And then whether you give it to others, I mean, just even if you're a mom or your husband or, just having that, I don't recommend coaching your husband, but just having different perspectives and how to shift someone's, focus. Oh, really? What would you like? Those kind of little, it's great because you affect everybody. It's just awesome. So it's important to learn how the universe works and how energy sets up. And it's kind of like some of you have taken quantum energy mastery, like Victoria. Hello. It's like the prequel to energy mastery. It's the basis of how our universe works and how energy sets up. And just when you're ready to have those ahas, like Carl or Barbara or Joy Coach, right? Like Carrie, like Mary, it's all there, and the council's always there too, and surrounding that energy. So it's just fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here, and I want to thank all of my beautiful guests. Thank you so much, Carl. Very proud of you. So grateful for you. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate you all. And thank you, of course, Beth. I appreciate you. Thank you for being part of this community, this company. I just appreciate everything you do. And we all appreciate you. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Take care.